on Wyn FM. And our special guest, all the way from sunny Queensland, is Photos in the Attic, the novel, Donna Fechner, who's the author. Sorry, I got myself tongue-tied then. And, of course, you know, her husband, Michael Fechner. He gives me a hard time. But good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You're not the first man to be tongue-tied about me, Sam. Let me say that.
Oh, well, it's actually not you. It's just that I have to sort of introduce Michael too. You know?
I know.
Thanks,
I know.
Sam. I appreciate that,
I
mate.
get it.
How's the weather in Melbourne? Is it beautiful?
We just
You
heard.
just heard, but you
Just heard it, yes.
I know, Aidan was very good.
It's cold. It's cold.
It's beautiful here. I think autumn has come,
We finally got sunshine in Queensland. It's been a long time between rain showers.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't have the rain like you guys do. We have wonderful weather downtown south of Melbourne. But before we go any further, I know that Aidan wanted to say something to you both.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you for the book. I received the novel. I started reading it.
And come on, you said you found it fascinating.
It is something that's really good. I'm enjoying it.
Actually, the great thing for me, Aidan, is to hear that other generations find something interesting in it. What have you found interesting in it or surprising so far?
Well, I've got to jump in there because Aidan said to me that he wants to finish the book, but what he found interesting was how you came about the story.
Yeah.
And more importantly, Aidan, you were saying to me about how the photos were found in the attic, and that's what really enticed you to start to read the book even more so.
Yeah, it is like interesting with all these different stories within the photos and how it came to be, and yeah.
And actually, we're still finding photos in that attic, Aidan. They're still there. We found some last September. Of course, Michael, when he goes up there, the first thing he does is shove his arm down in between the walls and fiddles around because this is 100+ years ago.
I feel like Indiana Jones still.
He found 6.
We found six or seven of them. Are really, really good,
Beautifully
preserved. A couple of English ones and a couple of
A
Australians.
little bit of pigeon poo on them, as to be expected.
But they've been there for over
pristine.
100 years, still sitting just in amongst all this, which is quite bizarre. Quite bizarre.
You know what else is bizarre is that this probably isn't the only place that this has happened.
No,
No.
absolutely.
And look, there's other. Louis and Antoinette weren't the only photographers, obviously. There are other photographers in local towns nearby, but I think the thing about Louis and Antoinette is that they kept every single photographic plate that they took, which other photographers rubbed off the emulsion and reused the glass plates, whereas Louis was cutting windows out of the house to actually make new glass plates.
Because they were running out of glass.
But before they were found, there was discussion that the house was going to be demolished by the family, and the chances are, if the Channel 7 team hadn't found them, they probably would have gone to the dump.
In amongst the rubble.
Into the dump.
Yeah.
And that's the sad bit. But you know what the great story behind all of that is? That not only did they find them, what you have done, especially writing the novel, Donna and Michael, you know, the work that you have done. But tell us the exciting news that's going to happen, because hence the reason why we wanted to get you back on, because I know you're off to France, but what's the real exciting place about the attic and about the house, not being pulled down, but more so about what's going to happen?
Actually, I think before Michael starts talking for the next hour, I think this story just keeps giving. So every time we close the book and we say, that's it, you know, there's nothing more we can do, something else occurs. And we believe those soldiers up there are just trying to get more stories out. So
every day we hear another story about someone and find
who's had their photo taken,
which
in the
is
bar.
just incredible. But look, the in the lead up to the centenary of the Great War commemorations in 1918, the Australian government invested a lot of money on the Somme, whether it be at the Monash Centre at Villers-Bretonneux or other places, and fortunately, the story of the Thuillier Lost Diggers plates became an interest to them, and they spent some money building the museum. And there's a museum there that was built in the Thuillier farm. It's an interpretive centre, magnificent for people who want to go and see it, not far out of Amiens. It was beautiful, and it's been built, and it was opened in 2018. And at the time, the farm, it was the barn and the house, the Thuillier house, and they had great intentions of renovating the entire little facility.
Precinct, yeah.
And unfortunately, the money only stretched as far as the museum, and the town put in some. But the house, the Thuillier house where Louis and Antoinette and the boys lived, during this time, and right up until the 1970s and 80s.
World War II
sat in ruins, and it slowly degraded. And when we were there in 2023, we had a talk with Stéphane Ducretoy, the mayor, and he said, look, we've redone the roof, but we can't spend any more money on the house because the school needs a new roof, and the plumbing down the road needs and the locals were a little bit worried that so much money was going into this little facility, even though it was nice and it was bringing tourists in. It was a lot of money going out of the local coffers. So it sat there, and the mayor said, look, we're going to pull it down. And Donna and I sat.
We saw red.
We saw red. Because this story had been incredible, and it was in this house that Antoinette and Louis lived.
And it was also where our boys from Britain and China and Nepal and Tibet and Canada were walking through. And it was also their family home, and it's part of the museum. So when you're in the museum, you look over at the house, and it's like 5 metres away. It's really close.
French farms built in the town are basically a gate, and you open the gate, the barn and the house are all included in one complex. So the mayor looked at us, and we said, you can't do that. And, well, he said, ooh la la, I have no other choice. And
I don't think he said it like that. But he just said, I can't keep spending money on this house.
So we went away, and we said to him, look, let's have a think about what we can do. The long and short of it is that the mayor and the town have granted us a 20-year lease over the facility, which we are
the house,
which we are just blown away with. And the museum and the house will again become one facility. So what we did was we came home and we found some interested people. And again,
we're still finding interested people.
And the long and the short of it is that hopefully on Anzac Day this year, we will turn a sod that will begin the renovation of the Thuillier house in Vignacourt.
And the long-term plan is to run it as a little B&B, 5 bedrooms, 5 en-suited bathrooms for any visitors who wish to live that moment of that little house next to the museum with all the photographs.
And it'll be the only one of its kind or anywhere on the Somme where you stay so close to a museum with the history of over 100 years to do with the Great War. So we're very excited about that. It's a 2-year project. There'll be a little...
Yes, exactly. It's not going to happen overnight.
Won't happen overnight. We've had the builders...
Overnight. So, Michael and Donna,
yes.
question for you.
Yes.
I might ask it of you. You've got this 20-year lease, and you have a tremendous community up there that I'm sure is thrilled to bits that this museum is there for tourism and so forth. Rotary clubs in the area. Engagement with Rotary to get them involved, because of course we know Sir John Monash, Rotarian, heavily involved with the First World War, war hero, and we have the opportunity for a national network through Rotary to do something locally for you that enables Australians to learn more about the war. Donna, what are you going to do about that idea?
Oh, I love that idea. We've looked at the defence as well, and we've looked at private investors. Also, the Somme Tourism Association is going to put some money in, but definitely we will reach out to Rotary. It's not for us. We are simply going to do this house up, and then we're going to leave it in the village, because I won't be around in 20 years' time, I have to say, making beds anyway. So all we want to do is to set this place up.
We want people to come there.
So
and
yeah, I
enjoy
take your point.
Rotarians, other groups that want to get involved.
Legacy.
We'd love to make it an Australian project.
Hey, Michael, let Donna finish.
Never. So we've approached Legacy. We've approached state government as well. So we're reaching out to any agency that would be interested, because we just want that house filled with laughter and interested people who may or may not have ancestors who fought in World War I, but are keen to be proud to be an Aussie or a Brit or a person from Belgium or anywhere in Europe that went through this little tiny village. So we're at that point where we're opening up any interested parties to contact us, and that will help us put beds in the rooms and curtains on the windows.
Jerome and the building team are already on site getting everything ready. It's probably going to take the next couple of months to get the plans and architectural things drawn up. The house is in good condition overall, but it obviously needs to be renovated.
But no, it has to be gutted. So.
And on the ground floor...
To both of you, I think what Cheryl has just come up with is a great opportunity.
Absolutely, yeah.
Engage with Rotary, because Cheryl really hit the nail on the head when she talked about the involvement of Rotary and how far it goes back, and to the opportunities that will avail themselves through Rotary.
Yeah, we definitely will.
And it's a really great organisation, even in an advertising sense, for them to have Rotary members coming aboard, and visiting the place. I am personally looking forward to going to Vecna Court, which I never thought of a place of, Vecna Court, but because I've been, privileged to have met you, to have read the novel, that's really, and I talk about it, and you would be very happy, Donna, to know that I've given one of your books to one of the heads of the US Air Force from the Pacific Command in Hawaii, and she's written back to me, and she actually has said to me, Jessie has said to me, that she cannot wait to see the movie. So talking about that, when do you think this movie will take place?
Well, this thing just keeps on giving. The movie, we're at the point of finalising. We need a main star. We need a name, or a main star. So, and what we would love would be a young Australian male who hasn't been discovered yet, and some Australian female. So young stars, and we just need one big name in order to. We've almost got our budget. We're just a little short. So if we either get a big name or just a little bit more money, then it's ready to go. The script is done. We're ready to move. We're just waiting for that final piece.
We've got a great team who are behind it, and
Franco de Chiera, our director, and so that's happening. And the next part of that is doing a doco on the renovation of the house.
And we think that the doco, the house, and a doco that shows the renovation of how this takes place, with a whole lot of history around it as well, would be fantastic as a bit of a prelude to the movie as well. It'll give the movie a little bit of a kick on.
Package, yeah.
And if people get involved, that's what we want to see happening, because this is going to be somewhere where people can stay. 10 people can stay there. They can visit the Somme, all that it entails, learn the story of the Thuilliers behind the line, and just have an incredible time lapping up history and living with history.
And our dream is to employ the local kids in the village, like they were the ones who looked after our boys when they were there 100 plus years ago. And some Australians who might come over and do some stints because there'll be a wine bar, of course, you know me, Sam. There'll be a wine bar and a coffee shop. So there's that happening. So our plan is to get it up and running, and within 5 years, we gift it back to the village.
Well, just before we run out of time, I would love to be the very first and get 10 people from Melbourne to come along. I've got an idea who they could be, and we could come down there and spend a week there and learn more about it. But I've got to say that I take my hat off to both of you. But a great achievement, Donna, also with with the photos in the attic, and it has
Thank
opened
you.
the eyes of many of people that I've reached out to about your novel.
Thank
but
you.
more importantly than that, the great work that you are doing, and the great work that, you know, and your contribution to Vecnacourt says something in itself. And, you know, the people of Vecnacourt have got nothing but thanks to give to both of you. And, you know, I'm excited for you, and you know that.
Well, just quickly, when we're there next week for Anzac Day, they're having a beer festival, Aussie Beer Festival. They're having a run. We're having an Aussie barbecue, which we usually supply kangaroo steaks and 4X. Sometimes we
Cooper's this year.
Oh, is it Cooper's this
year?
So every year, Vignacourt goes off on Anzac Week, they call it.
And they're doing this on,
So they love us
on the
too.
day of their commemoration of Anzac Day this year. They're going to do a really interesting thing. They're going to do some tableaus. They're going to choose 5 or 6 of the photographic plates, and they're actually going to do still motion around the village in front of places where the photos were taken for real.
So it's still alive there. And there's also, I know you're running out of time, there's also a walk, an 8-kilometre walk between Vignacourt and Nau, which is the next little village, where our boys wrote on the cave walls when they were there staying behind the lines. So now 2 villages have connected, and it's a lot of Australian stuff.
It's just a great. So Cheryl, also any Rotarians that are out there that would love to contact us to sort of be part of all this, we'd love to have them involved and have it internationally involved with Rotary. So some great ideas there. Thank you so much for that.
My pleasure, and it's been fantastic to have you here today. Thank you so much, both of you, for sharing this extraordinary experience. And I know that from an educational point of view, it's second to none, but also from a perspective of back to Rotary, what that's all about is world peace.
Exactly, which is really important.
And don't we need that? We certainly need that now.
We do. And Sam, if...
Getting you back to hear about your trip, departing next week, you said, so that's fantastic.
Fantastic.
You're on the Vibe 88.9. Over to you, Sam.
And thank you so much again. I'm just repeating the words that Cheryl said. Have a great, safe trip to Vecnacourt.
Thank
Great
you.
to have you on the show.
And
look forward to a full report when you get back.
Sam, we will. And if people want to have a quick look at the building, get onto our YouTube site, Inter CCG, and you'll be able to have a look at the building and what's happening.
Good on you. Have a safe trip, and God bless to both of you, okay? Bye.
Ditto.
Thanks,
Bye.
Sam. See you later, guys. Bye, bye, Joe.
You're on the Vibe on 88.9 Wyn FM, and what a conversation. And what...